Hey, first started playing Respawnables in 2013/14 because my friend Marcel from one of my schools, I think he introduced me to the game, and that was the time. So yeah, 2013/2014 was when I first started playing Respawnables. Hey, so my favorite weapon in the game is it has to be either revolver or um, blunderbuss, but I think it would be revolver because it wasn't. It was more balanced and it wasn't like OP, and it was one of iChase's favorite weapons. So not only that, but I think that mostly because it's not as overpowered and more balanced and more fair in the game to use. So revolver was my favorite weapon in the game. Yeah. Hey, my favorite map and respawnables in the whole game would have to be hands down Sandtown because Sandtown, you can get enemies pretty quickly if you have good enough weapons against them and you have skill. Get a load up on kills, and get if you have good like matches and stuff. So yeah, I think Sandtown would probably be the number one favorite for the whole game. So yeah, my favorite gadget in the whole game of respawnables would have to be the spotter because it was one of the best. It wasn't that it was kind of overpowered by Digital Legends. After a while, they kind of made it less OP by making them like timed or have it last a bit less. Because before it was more OP when it lasted longer. But I have to say spotter because you can see the enemies and it's very helpful in certain situations when you get trapped and or when you want to find the enemy faster and help out your teammates and your team. So I have to say spotter would be my number one favorite for the whole game. Yeah. Hey, I think the weapon that's the most overpowered would have to be honestly Aristocrat shotgun. I hardly use it because against like how they say this thing like noobs, it was kind of or low skill players, it's kind of unfair for them. So I never hardly ever used it, and so yeah, I think the Aristocrat's shotgun was the most overpowered. It only had one shot, and it mostly if people have enough health, it'll kill them instantly. So that had to be the most OP weapon. Okay, so I'd have to say that my favorite year was more recent, like before the game closed. Is I have to for me, if I had to choose 2021 to 2022, I would choose 2022, and the reason is because they had basically everything almost basically for free. You don't have to pay for weapons, even if they're overpowered. Some bundles I remember they cost like I don't know, like exaggerated, like $70, $100 around that time at the max. But yeah, so I think that the year before they close is my favorite because you can get all the weapons and get all the perks and get all power ups and everything almost basically for free, and you also got to do different challenges and different certain events that were unique, especially since the game was about to close. And yeah, that was my favorite year right before the close because you got basically infinite gold. So yeah. My favorite update in the whole game of Respawnables would have to be in 2020, the 8th anniversary. I think that's what it's called, 8th anniversary update, because they introduced like certain weapons and gear, and I think that was around the time when they had certain deals and with gold. I don't remember too well, but that was my favorite because um, you could get certain weapons that look cool and certain bundles that were nice. And I think the 2020 8th anniversary update was the best one. So yeah. For my favorite memory, that's kind of a good question, hard one too. But I would have to say it would have to be when I used to play with my friend, that guy who introduced me to the game of Spawnables. It would have to be those times in 2013, 14, 15. When I played matches with him, invite friends over, and also that was during the time when the friend list on Facebook where you can invite friends and bring them or recruit them and have the team worked. So that would have to be my favorite time. Like my memory was around that time, 2013 to 2015, when I got to play with friends. So yeah, that's my best memory. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I don't know why the game was shut down, but I think something to do with Afterpulse or something that they bought out the game or they bought out Digital Legends. Or, no, not that, but what was it? I think they were developing a game or something went wrong and with the company. That's the best I know, but I think that's why it shut down because also they were going to some point where some bundles are getting exaggeratingly expensive and maybe they can keep it up or maybe something happened along the line with the company or Digital Legends. Who knows? But that's my best guess is that the reason why it was shut down was because uh, something with Activision or something. I honestly I don't remember. I don't know. So that's my best guess. So yeah. Yeah, I think the amount of money that I spent on Respawnables is kind of, at some points, it's getting ridiculous. Like, I would spend like maybe 30, 40, 50 in like short time. So I think the total amount I spent is like $350. I don't know, but like that's who knows. I think that's the closest guess I have was like $300 to 350 on Respawnables like bundles and different perks and different stuff and different weapons, bundles and clothing, gear, everything, zombie stuff, and yeah. So I'd say 300, 350. Yeah, I'd have to say the Elysium would be my favorite. Like, because it was more balanced and it wasn't that overpowered at the time. And back then, you could get a ton of kills from I think from the chem rail gun or something. I forget what it's called. I think yeah, chem rail gun, and it's more balanced after as the game progressed. So and also I like the look of it. So that's my favorite is the Elysium bundle. Yeah, I would have to say that the thing I like the most about Respawnables at all is that it's for free. Like it's free game to purchase. Like you can spend a dime. That only if you really need something you might have to spend like a few dollars here and there for a bundle. But and the other thing is that I like the most about the game is like you could play with friends while it lasted because after a few years you couldn't play with any friends. But while it lasted, that's what I like most about the game too is that you could play with friends and you can invite them to your squad and your team and you can verse other teammates. So yeah, that's the thing I like the most about Respawnables. Yeah, the people that I like to watch on Respawnables would have to be number one I Chase. I think the other guy was like HYT Games or something. I forget his name. And there's another guy who speaks Portuguese. I forget his name too, but I'd say just the ones I remember for sure be I Chase and some other ones. I don't remember at the top of my head right now, but for now I'd just say the guy I like to watch the most is I Chase because he he started very early and he has one of the most popular spawns with it. So I'd say I Chase for now. And how many devices do I still have the game? Well, just the iPad. I only have it on the iPad because I accidentally deleted off the iPhone because it's unplayable. I tried finding any way to play it on both devices, but I just kept it on the iPad for memory. So yeah, the iPad Mini would be the only one I have it on. Oh boy, it's gonna be a long one, but I think my thoughts on Digital Legends would be that at first at the very beginning of the game at least, they offered no bundles you had to pay for. It was basically closest as you can get as being free to play, 100%, and that they made a very good game that it was very addicting and you can play it for a long time, for many hours. The other thing I think about Digital Legends is that they finally made a report a player for the cheaters, the hackers, so near the end of the game. So that was good on them. And certain things they might have not listened to the community, but overall I think they're pretty good. And the last thing I'll say is what I think about Digital Legends is that I think that they're a good company overall with the kind of game that they produce for the Respawnables. Yeah. Hey, so well, I consider myself more sometimes. Well, I'll actually consider myself more a balanced player because I would use OP weapons sometimes. Like the only reason I do that is because I already purchased them and I already spent a lot of money. And most of the time I'd use like balanced weapons like yeah, revolver, howitzer, and if I did use a weapon that's paid for, it would just be something that's like maybe in between or more geared to a balanced. Like I don't remember the names, but um, I would say that I very rarely used OP weapons, so yeah, I would say more balanced player. Yeah. Hey, so I in the very beginning and even for most of the time I'd be missing weapons because the only reason I miss weapons because I haven't purchased all of them with real money, and some of them were so outrageously expensive. Like some bundles are packs for like $69, $70 with taxes and plus more. So I didn't get everything, but when I had the chance, I'd get as much as I could. So there were items missing, but the only time I did have everything was at the very one of the last years, like 2021, 2022, or near the end, whatever, like very end. When they made basically everything for free, and if you finished certain tier, you got a reward, or they put like basically infinite gold in your account. So yeah, that's my answer. I would say for this one, it's kind of mixed because I like using when I got all like spent the $300 or got all the free gold, like say, or even at the very beginning, it's kind of there's not one loadout, but I think my favorite would have to be the cowboy jeans, and in the middle for the clothing would be maybe like a t-shirt. You know the ones from the soccer event? I think they sold the t-shirts for like $2 or something. So it'd be Germany, that flag of the soccer t-shirt, and the for the head would probably be a cowboy or the cowboy hat, or um, the bundle from the Elite something. I forget the name, but it was like the one with the hat and the goggles or the glasses. That one I think would probably most likely be the main loadout for Respawnables. That's how it looked like. So yeah, yeah. I think that the evolution of the Respawnables game was incredible because the beginning it was they are like ahead of their time, and I think that the graphics were actually really good for just a mobile game. They had a lot of good ideas, and over time I don't know how they did it, but they came up with really good events, bundles, head, body, legs. They had really good ideas. Kind of like look, the game reminded me of like Team Fortress 2 or something, but that's just my thought. And towards the end, I think the only bad thing about it was that there's a lot of hackers and cheaters, and they're infiltrating the game. But overall, I think they're very innovative, like in a lot of innovation in the company in the game. So yeah, I think the evolution was pretty impressive for its time at least. Well, what I would change about Respawnables to make it better is that I'd make it like even throughout the whole game, I'd see if it was possible to convince people, like the developers or whatever, to make it so that you wouldn't have to spend as much money as they required. Because during the actual Respawnables like game, you have to pay like $1,000 or more or something like that to just get everything, and that's kind of in a way almost outrageous because some certain people can't afford it, and it's it's too much money. And the other thing that I would change is that people trying to hack, I would invent a way or see if there's any way to report the hackers like pretty easily in the game. And I'm not sure what else, but I think that's about it.